G'day everybody, here is a build of a replica space pistol. It's not a real gun, never existed. It's based on the Jamie Hewlett picture that goes with this model of tank girl and what it was based on. The picture was redone more artsy by Nuno Benito. Hang on, I'll tell you when the poster comes up. Nuno Benito, and I got asked to see if I could redo the gun for the tank girl model that was displayed just a minute ago. So in the process of making the gun in Blender, which I did, and I'm new to Blender, so it was very exciting for me to be able to do this, especially the monkey that hangs off the front. I'm pretty thrilled with the little monkey. But in the process of doing this, I got excited and decided that I wasn't just going to print one for the model, that I was actually going to do 3 life-size ones. So also as display pieces. So this is me painting the little monkey that goes on the front of it. The monkey hangs from the front of the gun like in the poster. And because I made one for the tank girl model, there's one tiny one, 3 little ones, and because I was so chuffed with the monkey, I also did 3 keychain size ones that are a little bit bigger. But this is the first colours on the ones for the gun. So there's 3 every time I do it, and there was actually 6 every time I did it, but there was 3 of this size. So paint, doing all the colours, putting the shadows on and putting the light bit on to make it look exactly like the picture, or as much like the picture as I could from the poster. And it was just, once you've done one, you can do them all. It got progressively easier as they got bigger too. I got the guns, and because, like I said, I'm new to Blender, there were a couple of issues with printing. I didn't support it really well. I printed one and it was okay, and I printed 2 more, but I had changed the supports, and also the first one that printed, I forgot to engage the top bits of the barrel, and it didn't print them, and I had to print them separately. So then I redid it, but as a result of the way that I supported them, the front of the sights fell off, so I reprinted the front bit, glued it on, and then needed to milliput up the holes that are in the front of the gun. So there was a little bit of milliputting and stuff goes on to seal up holes and make them all solid and safe. And because I'd been really excited, I showed my friend the prototype one, which I'd sprayed silver, but that's not the way that they ended up. So a bit of milliputting when it was dry, drilling it out to make it look good, because the nose of that one had cracked. Then I drilled up through the center to place a dowel on them so that they would sit pretty tight. I was very careful not to put them on and off too many times because I didn't want to break the supports. Then I've got some timber. This was some camphor laurel that we had to chop down on our property, and I just turned it into some bases, just cut them the size, and then put a little bit of a chamfer on the top to make them look a bit pretty. And then I also made a tank girl plaque to go on these. They got lacquered and polished up nice. You'll see me painting the tank girl plaque a little bit later. It was just based on the tank girl typeface that was on the same poster, but they came up really nice. The guns, the first thing I did was sprayed them with a metallic charcoal, so they all got, the first thing I did was to prime them with surface primer, and I use a edge primer when I do it. The one that I use, I'm in Australia, is made by White Knight, and I really like it, and it really sticks. I know some people do and don't use primer, but I absolutely do, because it does stick and it's easier to go over. So they got primed, then they got gunmetaled, and then I filled in just a bit of shadowing and the grip part with black paint, did them a black spray, and then a little bit of highlighting with some lighter grey. I decided to make these more comic style. They're not supposed to represent real. They never were real. They aren't things. They don't fire, there's no mechanism, and they're a solid gun. So I decided to go with the comic style of finish similar to what the poster has. This is the Tank Girl logo, so I 3D printed that and made 3 of them, and then just put the orange and white on. That's the same as the poster, and there you go. They look pretty smicko. Took a bit of effort in Blender. Then did the detailing of the black. Same thing. The brush strokes are obvious. The idea was to make it look like the artwork on the poster with the lines showing up. So there's a bit of the majority of the black was around the barrel, but I did pick out some of the little bits and pieces on the gun with a little bit of black and a little bit of shadowing, just some light black on the shadows in places. And when I did one, I had to do 3. So it got, again, that also got easier as I did it. I got better at it, better at doing each one. As you can see here, quick sticks. After I'd done the black, I did a wash. That's what's happening now. I put just a black wash, charcoal I think it was, wash over them to try and grime it up a little bit and give some extra shade and shadows in the I don't know what it's called, part of the barrel. Then I did a blue highlight, and then I did a lighter blue, even lighter blue highlight, and that's the result. So sanded up the backs of the labels and glued them on with super glue. And then this is, after the monkeys were all dry, I did actually spray them with a clear, and then I tied a little bow because they're hung on by a bow. It was quite tricky to get the bow to tie the knot in the line with the monkey, so I tied a bow, cut it off and glued it back on so that I got the right height for the monkey to hang. You know, you can tie a bow, but it's very hard to tie a bow and have it end up exactly where you want it. So that poor little monkey lost an ear, and I had to remake an ear out of cardboard because I lost it and I had no idea where it landed on the floor. I have a speckly floor, and so I made a new one out of cardboard and then had to colour it in. So this is doing the highlights of the gun. It's a really pale blue, but again, it gives the impression of the artist rendering, which is what I was aiming for all the way through. In fact, these guns turned out so well that I changed my mind on how I wanted to finish the actual Tank Girl model, and I speak about that in the Tank Girl build video, and I opted to do the same sort of arty, comic-y style, picking out the edges on that as well, and she turned out really terrific. It was quite fun trying to do the gun that was the scale of Tank Girl. It was tiny, and I already had done these ones and knew that they looked really good, but then I had to try and reproduce the same markings on a tiny weeny little gun that's smaller than the palm of your hand. Both I think turned out pretty well. I don't know whether I should have some background music going or something. I'm not going to whistle, that's for sure. But this is just the picking out. Maybe I should have edited it a little bit shorter. So after everything was done, I did a dry brush with some silver just to give it a little bit of highlights on the edges. So it was a little bit of an edge highlight with silver. And then I called that done after I'd drilled a hole up through the center of where the monkey hangs and glued him in place, pushed him up into the hole and glued him on, and repeated that 3 times, and then mounted them on their bases, again being really careful not to push the dowels in too far. I wanted it to be that they could take them off if you wanted to inspect them, but the supports that are inside, the dowel goes up through them, so if you do it too many times they're going to become loose. So there's the finished 3 and some glamour shots. There'll be some more glamour shots of those because I did this when I was editing the Tank Girl video, and so they got done at 20 times and then slowed down and it didn't really work. So here's the same photos that I did the first time. Okay, thank you very much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed this one. If you'd like to see the full build of Tank Girl herself, you can go back to the channel and watch it. And I will be posting some more videos now, because now that Tank Girl's out of the road, I have some time to do the other things. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.